All right, Giants Nation. I want to talk about the Daniel Jones related news that just came out the last few days. The first one was Rich. Rich said that the Giants are done with Daniel Jones. And I thought to myself, like, wait, this isn't common sense. You needed Rich to tell you that the Giants were done with Daniel Jones. Did you really think that the Giants were going to go into year three with Daniel Jones? What can Daniel Jones do to go into year three where we pay him $40 million? Because we're paying him $47 million next season. And so you can't cut him because if you look at the dead cap hit's going to be $68 million. But in year three, the dead cap is $22 million. So it's more manageable. And so the way it was explained to me is if you cut Daniel Jones next summer and then you start a quarterback in what would be his year three, like a rookie, you would have the rookie salary and then Daniel Jones' dead cap hit of $22 million, which isn't that bad versus, what it would be if you cut him this summer, like Denver did with Russell Wilson. It's going to be $68 million if I'm not mistaken. So I didn't think that was news. So if you thought that Daniel Jones was not a good quarterback, why were you all shocked that Rich was saying that the Giants are done with Daniel Jones? Like, this shouldn't have been news for you. You don't like Daniel Jones. So why would you think we would continue paying him year three? Like, when he signed the contract and I saw that we can get out after year two, in my mind, he was only going to be here for 2 years. I didn't see him staying here for 4 years. If that was the case and you were worried about him staying more than the 2 years, he would have gotten the fully guaranteed contract. Now, the next news, in my opinion, was the segment that had Shady, who has not been a fan of Daniel Jones because he's boys with Saquon and felt like Saquon should have got paid. And I feel like most of us felt the same way. However, we don't know what happened during the contract negotiations. We're not going to pretend like the Giants didn't prioritize Barkley over Daniel Jones. They did. They just couldn't get the money right. So don't be mad at Daniel Jones for being available or for the Giants being stupid enough to pay him. So we're going to go to Shady segment, and I'm going to break down Shady segment because there's a lot of stuff that I agree with Shady on, and Shady says a lot of ridiculous things, but it's like ridiculously funny.
First of all, what college you went to?
Duke.
Why are we going to Duke to get players? Since when? Now, if it's a spelling bee and you're trying to invent something and all that, for sure. So start your own app. Go get somebody from Duke. Ivy League on, I like that. If it's basketball, I get it. This is football. I ain't going to no Duke to get no players. A quarterback?
So if you can just remember what you felt like on draft night when we drafted Daniel Jones, he's actually saying what 99.9% of the Giants fans were saying when we drafted Daniel Jones. And just look at James Jones's face and Joy's face, how they're just leaning back and they're agreeing with him in silence.
Come on, man. See, it's bigger than him. I blame the front office from the New York Giants. They should never even went to Duke to go get a quarterback. For what? And the results is, you see what he is. He played over 60 games. That's 60 games he shouldn't even got a chance to start. He's not a starter in the NFL. It's not a type of starting quarterback we want. And I don't want to bash on him because I guess I am. But it's not his fault, right? The people that control who's playing, the people that control who they draft, the scouting department, the GMs, those guys should be the one you're pointing the finger at.
And this is where I agree with Shady, and it's twice over. So we're going to talk about Gettleman and his team and even John Mara because maybe it wasn't just Gettleman. Like, a lot of people like to blame Gettleman and say Gettleman is the one that was a lunatic and he drafted Daniel Jones that high. But realistically, what probably happened was not only did Gettleman want him, maybe Eli Manning chimed in. Maybe John Mara also agreed that he was the guy. And they told him, hey, get him no matter what. Because at the end of the day, that draft was a sorry-ass draft for quarterbacks. Once Justin Herbert, who's actually the guy I wanted, once he went back to school, you just had Kyler Murray at the top, and that was it. And a lot of Giants fans actually wanted Dwayne Haskins, and he also wasn't a good player. So a lot of people were saying that they drafted him 6 because they thought that maybe Washington wanted him, which if you look back at Dwayne Haskins, it's possible. I mean, these GMs are seeing things that we aren't seeing. So maybe they saw Haskins throw, and then they saw Daniel Jones throw, and they said, you know what? Maybe we don't really like Haskins that much. And so, people are saying that the Giants didn't want Washington to draft him. And Giants fans, after the fact, are saying, well, that would have been great if they drafted him. But I think there's a little bit more to the story than that. I really feel like he's got some ties with Eli Manning and John Mara and not just Gettleman, because they had a chance to walk away from Daniel Jones last year and they decided to sign him. Nobody forced the Giants to sign Daniel Jones, guys. Like, a lot of people get mad at Daniel Jones and say, why can't he just be better? He's from Duke. The Giants are the one that pursued him. This is like chasing down a chick who isn't all that, and then you finally get her and you're upset that she's not all that. You chased her down. And this never made any sense to me.
Why would we pay him all that money, though? Why would they pay him that money? It's so crazy when they pay him that money. I know players on that team. I know them. They know 2-5. We know each other. They say, Shady, I don't know why the hell we done did that. I'm like, me too. I don't know why y'all did that. So I'll say this. I don't want to judge him, right? Because Daniel Jones, get your money, bro. Yeah. I get it. Yeah, but it's not his fault. He should never be the chance to have the ability to start in the NFL. That's the truth of it. And he went to Duke.
Drafted and start?
And he went first round.
First round.
Forget, you know what? Let me take that back. If you're going to Duke to get a player, get him in the 7th round, 6th round, the 5th round. You want him in the 1st round?
6th overall.
Come on, man. You think you expect to win? And then you don't want to pay a guy like Saquon Barkley. That's the crazy part. A guy like Saquon Barkley, who is your identity of your team, of the city, ain't nobody wearing no Daniel Jones jersey except for his parents and his family. Ain't no fans wearing it. And you go out there and you want to pay him and don't pay Saquon Barkley? That's the craziness. So whatever that happens to them boys over there, I don't really care. Now, I do love that Brian Daboll. That is my dog. But he know they tripping with that.
So more facts from Shady. Yes, a majority of the Giants fans are more than likely Barkley fans. They really love Barkley compared to Daniel Jones. I never understood the obsession with chasing down the limited amount of fans that are quote unquote Daniel Jones fans. Like, I would never buy a Daniel Jones jersey because he hasn't done anything for me to want to buy his jersey. I mean, what are you going to say? He beat Minnesota and so I should buy his jersey? Like, I've never bought anything Daniel Jones related. Although, it's funny. My biggest short was the reason why he threw 15 touchdowns. And so people thought that I liked Daniel Jones. And I'm like, it's not that I like Daniel Jones. I'm just saying it is what it is. I mean, you got a quarterback from Duke that's not super talented. The Giants haven't really done a good job of giving him talent. You could say, oh, well, we tried, but we failed. Tony sucked. Galladay was ass. I've had fans tell me that he's the reason why Tony and Galladay were horrible. And I'm like, no, Galladay was running routes at like 25% of the speed. Like, he just looked ass. So my thing with Daniel Jones is I was never happy with the pick. I wanted Justin Herbert, which is part of the reason why I like Drake Maye. I mean, as soon as I heard the Justin Herbert comparison and started to watch him throw and him making the left-hand touchdown, I was like, hey, I think Drake Maye might actually be a pretty good quarterback. And some people have been disrespecting my guy, talking about, you know, it's Daniel Jones all over again. Don't even ever put Drake Maye and Daniel Jones in the same. If you think Drake Maye and Daniel Jones are the same kind of players because they went to basketball schools, just go ahead and walk in front of a bus. It's a different caliber quarterback. I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar in the league, but he's a much better quarterback than Daniel Jones at the college level. So as you can see, Daniel Jones only had one offer to do. Drake Maye had a ton of offers. So don't think anything of Drake Maye playing for UNC. A lot of people say, oh, the competition wasn't that great in that conference. Man, shut the fuck up. It's Drake Maye. This is not Daniel Jones all over again. I've literally seen people who I knew were Daniel Jones fans, but are now moving off the Daniel Jones bandwagon and say, oh, this is going to be Daniel Jones all over again. I'm like, how? How? This is a significantly better quarterback. But back to Shady's points, though. I agree with mostly everything that Shady has said. I disagree with him not being drafted because that draft was so bad that I don't think he would have went in the 6th or 7th round. Because if you think about it, Drew Lock was in that same draft, and I think Drew Lock went in the 4th round. I think realistically he should not have went in the 1st round, but doesn't mean that he wouldn't have gone in the 2nd round. I mean, obviously a lot of Giants fans will say, yeah, I would have preferred he went in the 2nd round because then maybe you'd have somebody like Josh Allen. But if you're selecting Daniel Jones over Josh Allen, then maybe you didn't want Josh Allen because it still doesn't make any sense to me. But again, it could be nepotism. It could be that he has some special backing because, I mean, if you have somebody like Daniel Jones where everybody knows that he's not good, but he's still a starter in the league, then he's got some really powerful people behind him. John Mara, Eli Manning.